So what I've done is I've essentially, with a slow network connection, navigated to one of our partners, which is knowi, that have built a native Couchbase integration. And on Ravi's request, what I've done is I've set up a data source that is connecting to our Connect demo cluster and is bringing all of the data back in a tabular fashion, no pun intended. And what I'm going to do is transform this on the fly and turn it into a map.
Okay.
So I'm going to go into the settings section, and my visualization would change. The only thing I'd like to note is that we are getting the latitude and longitude of the cars being sent as a part of the live data, like I'd shown in the JSON model. And I'm going to choose a zoom level that's going to make this a little bit easier on the eyes. So let me choose a zoom level of 7. I'm just going to save this, and in, I don't know, 3, maybe 4 clicks, I am going to refresh this page, and then you should see the map show up over here.
Fantastic. So what you basically showed is that using the knowi reporting tool, you have basically now created a report of the data that is coming in, which is giving us a sense of where this tire pressure anomaly is coming from in a map, so that you have a sense of is there a clustered problem, or is the issue all over the place, what is it. So if I were to look at this, what this sort of tells me that there's a majority of it is happening right here in our backyard. Is that the first insight I can drive out of this?
Absolutely. It looks like most of the cars that are reporting these issues are in the Bay Area.
Perfect. Can I ask you further questions now in terms of these, what types of cars, or what can be further insight be? I mean, I would love to know, which types of cars are having this issue. Is that a reasonable question to ask?
That is a great question to ask, Ravi. In fact, I think I was thinking the same thing. I like to think that great men think alike.
Great minds.
So
fools seldom differ.
What I did was I created a plot of the same data where I'm grouping by the new dimension that we'd added, which is the model type. And here's what that plot looks like, Ravi. Does that picture tell you a story?
Tells me convertibles are having more problem than the other. But typically, there'll be a lot more other types of cars than convertibles. So this perhaps tells me that among the different types of cars, it's the convertible type that is having more issues with the tire pressure indicator showing up.
Absolutely. It looks like convertibles on the road are the ones that are reporting the most issues with the tire pressures in real time right now.
Since I took a peek look at some of your queries over there, perhaps we can refine this further to see, is there a certain model here or something which is giving more trouble than the others?
Sure. So what I'd like to do is, at this point, basically do some further analysis and make sure that this is not an emergency or a situation that requires any urgent attention.
You're thinking of that. Sure.
So we had, going back to the same visualization, we also had the engine temperature reading coming in. What if I could also plot the engine temperature, the average reading coming in from the cars?
So you're just making sure it's not a life-threatening thing.
I am making sure that it's not an urgent situation that we need to take care of and tell the rest of the folks about it. So what you're seeing is a new visualization of the same data, which took me a couple of minutes to get there, where the average engine temperature being reported by the cars is shown. If you look at the scale on the right, and I'm just going to zoom this a little bit to maybe make it look a little bit better, all of the cars are reporting an average temperature between 199 and 202 degrees, which is within the safe zone. So we can safely conclude that there is no urgency or there's no urgent issue on the road.
I can breathe easier.
Yes.
Now on to my original question of, can we look at further, see which types of cars are actually which year, or can we further narrow it down so when we stand in front of Matt, we can give him slightly more reassuring answer?
Absolutely. Not. So the big thing here is that convertibles are having an issue.
Yes.
And we actually also added another dimension, which was the year in which the convertible was manufactured. If I was to slice and dice just the convertible data and plot that in a very similar graph, a pie chart like the last time, here's the picture telling us the story, Ravi. What do you conclude from this?
What this tells me, with my limited knowledge of things, is that 2017 convertibles are having a tire pressure related issue, which is not an emergency because the engine temperature seems to be fine, and a good chunk of them are happening in the Bay Area.
That is correct.
How can this report, this sort of report, be delivered in places where people are already used to, like a Tableau or Cognos or any of those, which are the popular ones in the enterprise?
So that's a great question, Ravi. In fact, our strategy with Couchbase Analytics is that we don't want to disrupt your existing tool set, and we will work with whatever tools that you're working with. So we have an ODBC, JDBC connector that CData, one of our ecosystem partners, has built. And what I'm going to flash on screen right now is the exact same visualization that I showed you plotting live on the graph on knowi, is again connected to the same cluster and being displayed on a Tableau dashboard. So you'll recognize the pie chart with the convertibles on the left, and then I have been a little bit more imaginative in trying to like get the yearly breakdown of all the cars convertibles that are having this issue.
You also mentioned the third, the operational people, the analytics, business analysts, and finally the data scientists. What can they derive further insights out of this data, or be set up for tooling for which they are used to?
Absolutely, Ravi. So the proof is in the pudding. I'm going to go back and show you a Jupyter notebook that you will recognize is showing the exact same plot that I had from my earlier visualization, where I am connecting using the Couchbase Python SDK. And then you'll see the second plot over there as well. And last but not the least, my favorite part of this is all of the information from Couchbase, the data is available in a pandas data frame, and I've gotten that code snapshot over here if you can see it in the back. And right after this demo, I'm going to take a course in machine learning and start building my models.
Yep, I'm going to follow you right after.